Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Katie and welcome to another bookish adventure. So it feels like a hot minute since I've actually sat down and filmed anything. Things have just been pretty hectic, returning to work and not going back to my normal place of work. It's just made things a lot harder to be able to really do anything, which was why last week I only did the one video and I think that was a weekly reading vlog, but honestly I cannot remember anymore. So hopefully next week, I will get 2 done. It's just very difficult not knowing my rota. I know I have 2 set days at this other store, but that is kind of down to the fact if I really want to stay, I'm literally only staying just to be nice and to help out. I don't have to. So it is kind of up in the air as to whether or not I'm even going to be there again next week. So we will see. So fingers crossed I will get to at least have 2 videos next week. I will at least have a weekly reading vlog on the Monday. Don't know for Thursday, but I'm hoping it will be a book review. So today we are talking about my June wrap up and July TBR. It feels like ages since I last did one of these. It's kind of, June has just been such a strange and weird month for me. So my main read of June was Heroes by Stephen Fry. So this is the second book in his Mythos series, which is not quite Greek retellings, but just Greek stories that are plenty, and he's just picked and chosen ones for us and just brought to us in that very British quirky humour and wit, and just in a more relatable and understandable way. So this one focuses on the heroes, whereas the first book focused on the original gods, their birth and all the things they got up to, mostly Zeus and his philandering ways, and sort of their children and the towns that came from them and stuff like that. So this one is more based on the heroes, and we start with Perseus, I think it is, then go on to Hercules, who is a descendant of his, and we also have other ones like Jason, who is one of the Argonauts, and from there you get other famous kind of people's stories because where their paths cross, and also the gods are still involved in this because they are meddlesome and they cause trouble. I listened to this book as well on audiobook. I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. I think probably because listening to it I got more of the humor out of it. I maybe didn't notice it so much in the first book. I said this before in a reading vlog that the humor of the audiobook may not be for all. He gives the characters voices, so some of them just sound like farmers, some of them might be Irish or Scottish. For me, it didn't make a difference. I liked it. It was just a character voice. It didn't matter the fact that like you're meant to be in Greece. And you know, he's written their dialogue because obviously there is nothing of their dialogue. So it's not just this is what happened to Hercules. He did this and this. You actually have like a conversation between characters to help with the story. I mean, this is right up my alley. I love learning and hearing of like Greek stories and mythology. I just think it's really cool, and there's a lot about them I didn't know. There's a lot about Hercules I knew but not properly, and the same with Jason. I knew the story of the Golden Fleece but not in depth, and the same with Theseus and his story with the Minotaur and how Daedalus and Icarus, how they came into play with it. It's just stuff like that, and not knowing whose stories were connected. I love this book. I've already pre-ordered his next book, Troy. Very excited about that because I know the basics of that, but I never knew the involvement of the gods and the time span of it until I watched the BBC adaptation. So I love this series. It is just really rekindled in me a childhood love of like history and Greek mythology. The second book I read, City of Glass. So if you have watched any of my weekly reading vlogs, you will know that finally Cassie Clare bought it with this book. Oh my god, I think I gave this book 3.5 stars. I think if I could throw all of logic out the window I would have rated it so much higher, but you know, for me this book is what the first and second book should have been at. Like that was the level. It was just so different. The writing felt so much more grown up. The storytelling, it just felt so different. I cannot put into words, and I kept getting to a point where I was like, oh my god, any minute now it's gonna go wrong, and it didn't. I will be doing a book review of this. I should be probably next Thursday's video. It was so much better than I could have hoped. I know my friends have said to me the next set of books in this series, the last 3 are so much better, and honestly I didn't expect a lot from this. Going on how I felt about the first 2, I just didn't expect this to suddenly be like, oh my god. The difference is astounding. I don't know what happened when she wrote this. This one finally takes place in the Shadowhunter home, Idris, and it is so nice to finally go there after 2 books. The encroaching tensions of Downworlders and Shadowhunters Shadowhunters are finally addressed. It's been set up in a great way that potentially it's obviously not going to be plain sailing in the next books, but actually I was concerned that the Shadowhunters and the Downwalls coming together was going to become a drawn out thing. They are at a place where going forward it could happen, but obviously there will be difficulties. I loved the end of this. I was talking to Beth about it. Valentine is one hell of a bad guy. I really do like him. He's very suave, however he is very single-minded in his approach, and you really finally get to learn a lot more about him and why he has gone on this path, and you find out a lot more about Clary and Jace and just everything that is sort of missing about their background. Some revelations did happen in this book. Disappointed, yeah, liked some of it, could see one of them coming, but just so much better. I cannot even. So the other two books I read were novellas by Renee Adayé, and they were the novellas to go with the Flame in the Mist, and they were from two characters' point of view. So one of them, which is a Black Clan member, and there was a bit of a reveal about who he was, and then a character who she is mentioned in the first book, but I don't remember having a point of view from her. These books were really short, literally like 13 pages. I think I only got them because they were on offer on Kindle once. I think they were free, or like 99p. They do not add anything to the story. They literally take place from the end of the first book, so it is literally just a passage that could be in the book. I was hoping that with I think it's I want to say Omakai or Omake, I'm not quite sure how you say his name. I was hoping that we would find out a lot more about his background and where his power comes from, because I said this before that the magic element of the book seems kind of vague, and it would have been nice to have that, but it is nice to have a chapter from him knowing who he really is and it being like a knot, because before you thought he was like whoever he was, and that was fine, but then you learn a bit more about him, and so it's not like you've got like guarded feelings, and it's just nice to really know how he feels about other people, about the sacrifice he could potentially be making. And then with Yumi, I want to say it's Yumi, she is very much like Mariko in that she does not want to be pigeonholed in this, you know, you are beholden to a man and stuff. So again, you don't learn much from her about her background, however you kind of almost get what you were missing with Mariko, in the sense of you never really truly got to know who she was before the book began, and you know, she doesn't want to be burdened to this life. Yes, she has been able to sort of act like a spy, but she wants more than to be serving in these tea houses and to have this, and to sort of, you know, be reliant on the fact of a man is what will give her the life that a woman wants. So I'm hoping that in the second book we are going to see her more as a main character, and we're going to see her sort of burst out of this gilded cage and actually fight for her future and for the rest of the future. They were nice to have, you know, they're not like necessary reads. I think I gave them 3 stars because I love her writing style. It is so wonderful, and even for such a short, just tiny little excerpt, you really just feel connected to them, and yeah, I really just love her writing style. So moving on to July, I plan to read the Earthsea Quartet by Ursula Le Guin. So Craig gave this to me last Easter. Yeah, I borrowed this from him last Easter and I've only got round to it. My bad, Craig. Some of you may know of this as the Tales of Earthsea, the Studio Ghibli film. I like that film. I like the whole magic thing, that is my thing. Never really knew it was a book until I think Craig gave it to me. So this is the first 4 books. I have started reading this. I'm not very far into it. I've sort of struggled to get into it, but it's just a very different writing style to what I'm used to. I believe this follows 2 wizards. I'm not 100% from reading the back. That's how it seems. At the moment we are focusing on Sparrowhawk and where he's come from and where he's learnt magic, and the other one will be Jed or Ged. I would say Jed, but whatever. But we haven't come across him. Well, I mean, I'm literally pages and we haven't come across him yet. It seems like it's going to be between the 2 of them, and then I'm guessing their paths are going to meet at some point. I really hope I do get into this, because it just seems like one of these books that is like, oh my god, like the epitome of like fantasy and stuff. So I'm hoping I can just get past the initial hurdles that I'm having, and once I settle into this style of writing, I will really enjoy it. The other book I plan to read and will also listen on audiobook is 6 of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. So I wanted to to listen to Tales of Earthsea for the Earthsea Quartet, but not to be, so we're going with this. Honestly, I have read her original first trilogy and I really enjoyed it, but this duology, Six of Crows, just never appealed to me. I don't know why, honestly I don't. If it was a TV series or a film, I would definitely be like, oh my god, that looks so good. But I don't know why as a book it just hasn't appealed to me. I know there was a lot of hype and a lot of love for this duology. Her newer books have definitely caught my attention more, so you know what, I just thought I'm gonna try it. Alice absolutely loves these and she's mentioned them to me a lot of times, and I just thought, you know what, it's one of these things every so often I keep coming back to and I keep rereading the summary and I'm like, I don't know, but I just kind of thought, you know what, try reading something different. Recently in the last few years I've really been pushing myself to read books that are slightly out of my comfort zone. So this book, it brings together 6 criminals to pull off an unachievable heist basically. They have to break into a military barracks, I think it is. Yeah, the Ice Court, a military stronghold that has never been breached, to retrieve someone who holds some key knowledge. So I'm pretty sure these 6 criminals do not know each other. I think they come together, or maybe like they're acquaintances of each other, and they're each different and have their unique ways. I am looking forward to their budding romances and friendships and just the dynamics and relationship. That is something that I have read about that has been really good about this series, so that is something that I'm like holding out for. If I finish those 2 books, which hopefully, well, I mean Six Crows I definitely will, but I just depends how I get on with the Earthsea Quartet. I will probably go for something smaller, so probably be like The Kingdom by Jess Rothenberg, or potentially I might pick up the next Dorothy Must Die novella by Danielle Page, because again that's quite a short and easy one. So we will see how I go, but hopefully, fingers crossed, I'm just gonna get more into Tales of Earthsea. I don't know why I keep calling it Tales of Earthsea, damn it. The Earthsea Quartet. Hopefully I will just get more into it, but right now I'm struggling a little bit. So that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. It feels weird to be back filming. I feel like I'm like, oh, I've enjoyed being lazy. If you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to hit that like button, and of course comment below, what did you read for June and what are you going to read for July? If you're new and you want to subscribe, hit that button, and don't forget to ding the bell to never miss a video. Hopefully I will have, and what the hell is my mom watching that has a screaming right now? Hopefully I will have a new video for you on Monday. Fingers crossed I will have my City of Glass book review, and then also a weekly reading vlog as well. But who knows what the hell's gonna happen to me at work. I hope you have a good weekend and I will see you at some point.